a classroom where students are not confined to textbooks and lectures. They are exploring concepts through interactive simulations, collaborating on online projects, and learning at their own pace. This is the future of education, and it's called blended learning. But what exactly is blended learning, and why is it becoming so popular? Let's dive into details. Technical definition. Blended learning is a pedagogical approach that combines face-to-face classroom instruction with online educational content. This model integrates the best of both worlds, offering the personal interaction of traditional teaching and the flexibility of digital resources. Categories of words. In understanding the concept of blended learning, some terms you may already know from traditional education, while others may come from the digital realm. Let's break down a few key categories of words that will help us better understand blended learning. Number 1. Familiar words for familiar things. This is when common educational terms are used to describe well-known concepts or tools in blended learning. These terms are widely understood by most readers in the field. For example, we can use the word short modules instead of microlearning. This term is commonly recognized in the educational field, referring to bite-sized content that enhances learning efficiency. Using short modules makes the concept more relatable to those unfamiliar with the jargon of modern education. Secondly, online classroom instead of virtual learning environment. The substitution simplifies the term, making it accessible to educators and students who may be more accustomed to traditional classroom terminology. Number 2. Familiar words for unfamiliar things. These are everyday, simple words which have special meanings in science and technology. In this context, familiar educational or technological terms are applied to newer or more advanced tools and methods in blended learning. For example, classroom. In blended learning, this refers to a virtual space like a Zoom room or Google Classroom, not a physical room. This example illustrates the shift from traditional physical spaces to digital platforms, emphasizing how blended learning transforms the educational experience. Lecture. In a blended environment, this refers to pre-recorded videos or live stream sessions rather than in-person instruction. This demonstrates how teaching methods have evolved, providing clarity on what a lecture means in a blended learning context, thus helping educators and students navigate these new formats. Number 3. Unfamiliar words for familiar things. An unfamiliar word for a familiar thing may be used if there does not exist any simple, familiar term for it. This involves using specialized or technical jargon to describe familiar aspects of learning or teaching, which might be more complex but still fundamentally understood concepts. For example, flipped classroom. A blended learning model where students review learning materials at home and engage in interactive, hands-on activities during class time. This innovative teaching model requires explanation as it challenges traditional teaching methods. By presenting it as a familiar concept, it emphasizes the active learning that occurs during class time. Number 4. Unfamiliar words for unfamiliar things. These words are also known as technical terms. They are specialized terms of professional groups, big and formidable looking, often the not of Greek or Latin origin. For example, Learning Management System, a software platform used for delivering, tracking, and managing educational content and student progress in online courses. This term represents a crucial component of blended learning, yet it may be unfamiliar to those outside the digital education space. Defining it clarifies its role in managing and delivering online content. Gamification. The integration of game-like elements such as points, leaderboards, and badges into learning activities to increase engagement. This concept introduces game-like elements into learning, and explaining it can help educators see how they can increase engagement through familiar gaming mechanics. As we all know, definitions play a key role in clarifying complex concepts. When discussing blended learning, it is important to use specific methods of definition to ensure that all terms are properly understood by the audience. There are several ways to define terms effectively, such as informal and formal definition. An informal definition is the substituting of a familiar word or phrase for the unfamiliar term used. It is therefore a technique that can be employed only when you are reasonably certain that it is the term alone and not the referent which is unfamiliar. For example, blended learning allows students to learn at their own pace and in a way that best suits their needs. Synchronous learning is like being in a classroom with your classmates, but instead of sitting at desks, you are all connected online. On the other hand, formal definition is logically dictated. A question-like statement is always called for, a statement composed of three principal parts for which there are universally accepted names. These are the species, the genus, and the differentia. For us to understand the differences of these parts in a formal definition, let's break them down. The species is the subject of the definition or the term to be defined. The genus is the family or class to which the species belongs. The differentia is that of the statement in which the particular species, distinguishing traits, qualities, and so forth are pointed out so that it is set apart from the other species which comprise the genus. Let us consider the table as an illustration of explaining formal definition. First, let us do hybrid learning. Hybrid learning is the species or the term to be defined. Then, it belongs to the instructional model, its family or its genus. The differentia is that combines face-to-face classroom instruction with online activities. Next, online classroom. Online classroom is the species or the term to be defined. Digital environment is its family. Then the differentia, where teachers and students interact through web-based platforms. Lastly, collaborative learning is the method of learning in which students work together to solve problems or complete tasks using online tools. Amplified definition. What is blended learning? Blended learning refers to a teaching method that combines online educational materials with in-person classroom methods. It's more than just using technology in schools. It's a fundamental shift in the learning process itself. But to fully understand blended learning, we need to dive deeper into its components, benefits, and challenges. First, further definition. At its core, blended learning involves synchronous and asynchronous learning. Synchronous refers to learning that happens in real time, while asynchronous means students engage with content at their own pace. These methods together create a flexible and personalized learning environment. Second, concrete examples and instances. Let's look at a real-world example. In a blended learning classroom, a teacher might introduce a new topic in person, like the causes of climate change. Students then complete online simulations or watch videos to explore these causes more deeply. Afterward, they regroup for a classroom discussion, synthesizing their online learning with face-to-face engagement. Third, comparison and contrast. Blended learning is often compared to traditional face-to-face education and fully online learning. Unlike traditional classrooms, where the teacher directs the learning process, or online courses where students learn independently, blended learning strikes a balance. It provides human interaction of face-to-face instruction and the self-paced, personalized benefits of education. Fourth, word derivation. Interestingly, the term blended comes from Old English blandad, meaning to mix. This perfectly captures the essence of blended learning, the mixture of multiple learning modes to enhance student outcomes. Fifth, negative statement. Blended learning is not the same as purely online learning or flipping a classroom, although these are often confusing. Unlike fully online courses, blended learning retains the importance of face-to-face interaction, and while flipped classrooms focus primarily on students engaging with content outside of class time, blended learning integrates both online and in-person elements into every stage of learning. Physical description. Blended learning environments often look different from traditional classrooms. Students may be sitting in groups with laptops, tablets, or even VR headsets. They move seamlessly between digital and physical spaces, interacting with content in various forms. Seventh, analysis. Blended learning can be broken down into several models: station rotation, flipped classroom, and enriched virtual. Each model adapts the blend of in-person and online activities differently. For instance, in the station rotation model, students rotate through different activities including digital tools, collaborative work, and teacher-led instruction. In the flipped classroom model, students watch lectures online before class, freeing up classroom time for discussion and hands-on activities. 8. Basic principle. The key principle behind blended learning is personalization. By leveraging technology, teachers can tailor content to the needs of each student, offering more challenging material to advanced students and additional support to those who need it. 9th. Cause and effect. Why is blended learning becoming so popular? One of the main reasons is its positive impact on student engagement and outcomes. Research shows that when students have control over their learning pace, they are more motivated, leading to better retention and performance. Additionally, teachers can provide more targeted support, improving the overall quality of education. 10th. Location. Blended learning is not confined to a single type of institution. It is used in K-12 schools, universities, and even corporate training programs worldwide. 2 organizational patterns that are possible for amplified definitions. Deductive definition. Blended learning is an educational model that integrates face-to-face teaching with online activities. This definition encompasses 3 main components: face-to-face learning, which includes in-person instruction; online learning, involving digital resources and platforms; and integration, which means these elements work together to enhance the learning experience. To illustrate this, consider a typical blended learning environment. Students might attend a classroom session where a teacher introduces a new topic. Following that, they engage in online activities like interactive quizzes or video lectures that reinforce their understanding. The fusion of these methods create a flexible learning atmosphere that caters to diverse learning styles. Supporting discussion. In blended learning, various tools and technologies play crucial roles. Learning management systems like Canva facilitate the online portion, allowing students to access materials and submit assignments. Furthermore, data analytics can be used to tailor the educational experience, ensuring that content meets individual learning needs. As blended learning evolves, we also see the emergence of more complex models such as flipped classrooms, where students learn new content online at home and engage in hands-on activities in class. This method not only fosters collaboration among students, but also allows for more personalized attention from educators. Inductive definition. Now, let's shift our approach and look at blended learning from an inductive perspective. Imagine a classroom where students participate in group discussions, collaborate on projects, and simultaneously access online resources. You might see students working on tablets, engaging in forums, and receiving instant feedback through online quizzes. These observations lead us to the conclusion that blended learning is an educational strategy designed to leverage the strengths of both in-person and digital environments, making education more accessible and effective. Placement of definitions. When discussing terms like blended learning, it's essential to strategically place definitions for clarity. For instance, we might define key concepts within the text itself, as we did here, or utilize footnotes for additional context. In more complex reports, a glossary at the end can serve as a helpful resource for readers seeking clarity on unfamiliar terms.